My opponent cited two main tools to improve the performance review, the Management by Objective (MBO) approach and the Balanced Scorecard (BSC). While the latter is more effective than the former, neither solution has the power to overcome the performance review issues we are debating. MBO is an outdated option with benefits that even its founder, Peter Drucker, has downplayed. The BSC, on the other hand, is time-consuming, dependent on the quality of information available, and met with resistance in many organizations. Therefore, although the MBO and BSC are tools available to catalyze performance reviews, their benefits still do not outweigh the detriments of the performance review I outlined previously. While popular in the 1960s and 70s, the MBO is now an outdated, rusty tool thrown in the back of the tool shed. As Mr. Drucker, the inventor of this method, states, quote, "MBO is just another tool. It is not the great cure for management inefficiency. Management by objectives works if you know the objectives. 90% of the time you don't." End quote. An article in The Economist states, quote, "Management by objective is now largely ignored. Its once widely used abbreviation, MBO, has been taken over by management buyout." End quote. With both its founder denouncing its importance and its abbreviation given to a more current term, it is clear that MBO has wilted. Finally, the Harvard Business Review says the following about MBOs. Quote, the typical MBO effect perpetuates and intensifies hostility, resentment, and distrust between a manager and subordinates. As currently practiced, it is really just industrial engineering with a new name, applied to higher managerial levels and with the same resistance intact. It continues, quote, "MBO as a process is one of the greatest managerial illusions because it fails to take adequately into account the deeper emotional components of motivation." End quote. With all these detriments being cited from prominent sources, it is clear the MBO is not a viable option to improve performance reviews. While a BSC is a better option than an MBO, its shortcomings still outweigh its benefits. These shortcomings include cost in the form of money and time, dependence on information available at hand, and resistance during implementation. The Houston Chronicle states, quote, "While the balanced scorecard has been used effectively by many companies that are vocal advocates for its use as a strategic planning tool, they are also quick to admit that it can be a costly and time-consuming tool. Correct use of the tool requires a thorough understanding of the process and, unless someone in the organization has experience with it, may involve the use of an outside consultant to help with the process." End quote. Clearly, there are large costs involved with the time taken to implement the BSC, the time necessary to gain that through thorough understanding of the process, and the external cost of a consultant. Decisions will be based upon the information available. Since the information can be either correct or incorrect, there is a lot of room for poor information to damage decision-making. The Houston Chronicle continues, quote, "The usefulness of the balanced scorecard approach is dependent on the value of the information that is driving the process. Garbage in, garbage out." End quote. Finally, implementation of a BSC program is often met with resistance and viewed as a temporary tool that will pass soon. The article concludes, quote, "Some employees and even managers may feel that it is just, quote, the flavor of the month," end quote, and resist its implementation. This is particularly true if implementation requires employees to go through training activities or invest additional time to learn about the balanced scorecard and its use, end quote. These three detriments make the BSC approach a potential tool, but it is not a viable option to replace the performance review. Therefore, I stand behind the position that performance reviews are detrimental and should be eliminated.